You guys fired up over this Derrick Rose topic. And I'll reiterate, I understand what he's going through. I do. But I just want to know, he talked about muscle memory. I'd like to know, it just seems like there's something missing to this equation. I'm not quite sure what it is. It just feels like there's something missing there. And do I think that he's more likely to play because they won last night? Yes. And I have nothing to base that on. Let's bring in Charles Barkley, who joins us now. Less likely, more likely to play in this series, Derrick Rose, after the win last night?
Well, I don't think he's going to come back. I thought he should have been back by now because I think if he's been practicing for 2 months, if he wasn't healthy or they saw something, they would shut him down. The team would. I mean, he's been practicing with that team for 2 months, so I think he should play. But obviously it's up to him. But in my opinion, we get paid to play. That's what we do. And you don't ever – I don't think you can wait till you say psychologically I'm 100%. Because anytime you have a major injury, there's going to be some hesitation. But at some point you have to say, hey, you know what? I just got to let it go and go do my thing.
Can a coach not force you to play, but kind of push you to play?
No, I think it puts the coach in a really awkward situation. I do. I think it puts you in a really awkward situation as a coach. But like I say, my thing is, him and Iman Shumpert got hurt the same day. Iman Shumpert has been back for 3 months. You can say they're different players, but listen, they're both playing in the NBA. But my biggest gripe with the whole situation, if he's been able to practice for 2 months, if the Bulls saw something in practice where he looked like he was limping or wasn't explosive, they would have nixed this thing, him coming back a long time ago. So that's the biggest reason I think he should come back. They haven't said anything. Like, come on, you think if Thibodeau or any of the coaches saw him limping or not being explosive in practice, we'll be having this conversation? And they have not said anything. So that tells me they think he should be playing.
Can the Bulls win this series?
No, they can't win this series. With or without him, they can't win this series. I thought that Miami got great shots in the first half. They couldn't make any shots. And then I thought that Miami looked really rusty. They didn't look in the flow of the game. So, and then they still, believe it or not, I thought they still should have won that game last night. Bellinelli hit a couple of big shots, and he hit a couple of big shots. But it just looked like to me last night Miami was very rusty.
Spurs-Warriors, certainly interesting. And it almost feels like, the Spurs are the guests showing up to the party and then they refuse to leave, and everybody cringes when but you're seeing 3 Hall of Famers out. You're 4 with the coach. You're seeing 4 Hall of Famers there. But why is it nobody likes the Spurs, or at least likes to watch the Spurs?
Well, I think, number one, they're in a small market and they just play the game the right way. I think they got the best point guard in the NBA in Tony Parker. The best point guard in the NBA.
Really?
Yeah, he is the best, in my opinion. First of all, everything's always just my opinion. But Tony Parker is the best point guard. Tim Duncan's the greatest power forward ever. Ginobili is arguably the best sixth man ever, and he starts sometime, but he's been fantastic. Obviously, you saw last night he got supreme confidence. Pop is the best coach in the NBA today. They're role players. Kawhi Leonard is terrific. He did a terrific job last night on Steph Curry in the second, and the fourth quarter, and the double overtime. And everybody else just do their job. So I don't know why people don't like them. They represent everything that's good about the NBA.
Do you have a problem with the one writer from the Boston Globe giving a first-place vote to Carmelo Anthony for MVP?
Not at all. I thought, first of all, it's not the best player. Steve Nash wasn't the best player when he won 2 MVPs. He had the best regular season. Derrick Rose wasn't the best player when he won MVP. I wasn't the best player. I mean, it's interesting how guys want to vote to try to justify LeBron's the best player of the game. They had the best record in the NBA. He should have won MVP. But I actually thought halfway through the season, Tony Parker was the MVP when the Spurs had the best record before they got all nicked up and had all the injuries. It has never. I love when the reporters try to act like they're the smartest people in the room. You vote for the guy who's having the best regular season. And some people thought Durant had a great regular season, which he did. Some people thought Carmelo. But it has never gone to the best player.
I didn't have any problem with Gary Washburn voting for Carmelo. I'm not a big Melo fan, but I have to acknowledge that he did carry this team a good portion of the season, and they had 54 wins. If you told me the Heat were going to have 66 wins, I'd say, okay. If you said the Knicks were going to have 54, I would have said, wow, then you got my attention. I probably would have looked at Durant getting a first-place vote. He didn't get one. And I thought Chris Paul deserved some consideration, and so did Kobe Bryant.
Well, I think all those guys could have got a first-place vote. You don't have to feel bad about it if you voted for one of those guys. And I think in fairness to Gary, I don't know Gary. I don't think I know Gary. When they were taking that vote, and that's when the Knicks had won all those games in a row, and Carmelo was averaging like 35 points a game. And there's no shame in vote for Carmelo. Like I say, that'd be no. Listen, Kobe Bryant, to me, you talk about all these guys. For him to do what he did at his age, I thought it was remarkable. I mean, LeBron is at the peak. Oh, I'm not even sure he's at the peak because you're at your peak between 25 and 32. LeBron's quote unquote in the middle of the peak of his superpowers. But for what Kobe Bryant was doing, I mean, it came back to bite him. But playing that many minutes, taking Steve Nash man most of the year because Steve couldn't guard anybody. I thought what Kobe was doing was actually one of the more remarkable things I've seen in my NBA career.
Who does Steph Curry remind you of?
Wow, that's a great question, Dan. I'm not used to great questions from you. I'm not even sure because, he's the best shooter. He's a underrated passer. I can't remember a guy who was that good of a shooter, who was that good of a passer. To be honest with you, and there's some guys who are great shooters. Like Reggie Miller was a great shooter. Steve Kerr was a great shooter. Jeff Hornacek, Glenn Rice were all great shooters. Eddie Johnson was a great shooter. But I don't remember any of those guys, number one, having Steve Nash is a great shooter. But I don't think any of them had his handle, to be honest with you, and his range. This guy is unbelievable.
I thought Ray Allen, earlier in his career, when...
No, Ray could never dribble. First of all, I don't think Stephen Curry's dribbled more. Ray, first of all, I'm taking anything away from Ray now. I love Ray. But Stephen Curry's dribbled more times in the last week than Ray Allen's dribbled in his entire career. I mean, think about it. Ray was coming off those picks, letting it go.
I know.
But Steph Curry's dribbled more in the last 2 weeks in the playoffs than Ray Allen's dribbled his whole career.
I always loved Dale Ellis deep, but
he
wasn't a guy
who was a great shooter.
Yeah.
But he was a great shooter, but you don't remember him getting his own shot all the time. He came off all those picks, and Dale made himself a great shooter because in college he was a post-up man. I played against him at Tennessee. He was a post-up man, and he made himself into a terrific three-point shooter. But he wasn't a guy like Steph takes you off the dribble, man. And he'll dribble. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I'm glad everybody's getting a chance to see him because he's been by far and away the best player in the playoffs so far.
Talking to Charles Barkley, NBA on TNT analyst. Monday's poll question, your career or Robert Horry's career?
Well, I think you take either.
I mean, he's got seven rings.
Dude, my career, I'm happy with what I accomplished. Listen, I'm from Leeds, Alabama. I was very fortunate enough to make it into the Hall of Fame. I'm cool with my career. I sleep well at night. I'm happy for Robert. I like Robert a lot, but I'm cool with my career, man. I'm happy with it. I exceeded all my expectations. It would have been great to win a championship. That really would have been more for the city I played in. But that's a team award, winning the championship. But I sleep very comfortable at night with my career.
If I said you would win a championship for Phoenix or Philadelphia, which city would you have wanted to win one in?
Wow, man. Dan, that's two great questions in a row. I wouldn't want to answer that question, Dan, because I would want to win one for both of those cities. Because Philadelphia, man, what a wonderful sports city, wonderful sports city. And Phoenix, to me, they gave me. I live in Phoenix for a reason. I love living in Phoenix. I could never answer that question, to be honest with you, because both cities deserve it. I would love to see both cities get one. But I can't answer that question, man, because I got a house in both places. And if I answer that question, I can't go back to one of those houses.
Before I let you go, obviously the big news with Jason Collins. Do you think you played with the gay? Did you play with a gay teammate during your NBA career?
Yeah, of course I did. Everybody did. Everybody played with a gay teammate, Dan, and it's no big deal. First of all, I think it's an insult to gay people to think that they're trying to pick up on their teammates. But everybody's played with a gay teammate.
Do they? I mean, how does it work that you know it, they know it? Is it discussed? Is it kept a secret? How do you do it?
Well, I think that it's obviously discussed privately, because the problem is, Dan, unless somebody tell you they're gay, you can't say anything about them being gay. You know, until somebody has the courage, and I think it takes great courage to come out. It's kind of an unspoken word, to be honest with you.
But you had a teammate who discussed it with you?
I had several teammates. I probably had 3 or 4 guys I played with in 16 years. But like I say, think about Jason Collins. He played on 16.
Yeah.
So 16's played with a gay guy. And so everybody has played with a gay guy. You just didn't know he was a gay guy. Because until a gay guy comes out, it's none of your business. But let me tell you, I thought Kurt Schilling said something really interesting, and I've used it on a couple shows. The night before Jason Collins came out, I never thought in my life who Jason Collins went to bed with. And when I went to bed that same night after Jason Collins came out, I didn't care who Jason Collins went to bed with either. You know, it's like it's none of our business. I know we live in a nosy society, but I wish the kid the best. I mean, first of all, I'm black, man. I'm inclusive. You can be what you want to be. I never lived during the days of segregation and things like that. So that's obviously, when you exclude people, that's not cool. So as a black man, I'm always inclusive, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Jewish, just an ass like you can be sometime, Dan. I'm inclusive.
Oh.
I'm just kidding, man. You know you're my favorite guy.
What did you give Jordan for his wedding gift?
I didn't give him anything yet, Dan. I had to work. I'm probably just going to get him a box of Cuban cigars. You can't ever go wrong with that. But I was working that day, so I didn't get a chance to go. But I'm probably just going to get him a box of cigars.
Why don't you get him a head coach?
Hey, Dan, listen, if I would have called one of my coaching friends and said, I got a job for you, and that was the job, you know how quickly I'll lose that friend? Come on, man.
Hey, tell the boys we said hello. Tell Ernie I said hello as well, and good talk to you.
All right, my brothers. Y'all take care of yourself. Take care of all the nerds, man.
I will. Thank you, Charles.
Okay, peace.
All right, we'll take a break. I'll get your phone calls, final 20 minutes of the show.